Well, day 14. So what are we doing today? If you saw the last video, you know that all the concrete work along the border around the whole shop is all finished, all done. Got that out of my hair. Gone. Never need to do that again. Hooray! Okay, so what are we up to today? Let me show you here. Okay, today is crack day. Okay, we're going to get all these cracks filled in. And what I have to do that, I don't know if I showed you this before, I don't remember. I have some of this Sika Pro Select self-leveling sealant that's used for the expansion joints and cracks, filling, that sort of thing. Now, my only concern with this stuff, and I watched some videos on it, some guys using it, and they said it's messy. It gets all over everything, so you got to be real careful when you're handling it because it's sticky and it'll, you step on it and then you've got it all over the place. So you got to be real careful with this stuff. And also, I'm concerned about the self-leveling because that tells me that it's a little on the fluid side in order to do that. And in the shop, I've got expansion joints that run from side to side, and I checked them with a level, and those are pretty level. Those aren't too bad. I'm not concerned with the ones that go side to side. There's just one long seam goes all the way through to the other side over there. And it's the expansion joints that go front to back in the shop, because the back of the shop, back there, is higher and it's on an angle. It tips down to the front. And my concern is that if I start putting the expansion joint sealer in there, it's going to run down and I'm going to end up with a big puddle at the end of the shop over here and empty up this way. Some guys on the internet express concerns and with that sort of thing, that you got to be real careful with it. So what I'm thinking of doing is, I have some sand here, and I'm thinking when I do the ones that go front to back, is maybe coming 12, 18 inches, 2 feet, something like that, and filling the crack with sand. Make a little dam in there so that I can do a section and then put another dam over here with sand, do another section, and do it in pieces so that I don't end up with it all down at the front of the shop. And I'm going to give that a try and see if it works. And then what I'll do is, after it sets up, I'll come back and take the sand out. I'll just vacuum it out and then fill in those little spots. Boom, 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 boom. It shouldn't be too difficult to do that, and I think it may work. But first, I'm going to do all these small cracks. I want to get that out of the way. And then this crack here, I've got a situation where this slab was poured apparently before this larger slab on this side. And so those expansion joints are shallow. They're like, I don't know, half an inch, 5/8 of an inch deep, that sort of thing. Yeah, 3/4 of an inch maybe at the most. Whereas this joint here, because it was two slabs poured up against each other, I've got a crack that's roughly between 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch in some spots. And that goes down about 4.5 inches. When I shine a light down in there and look, I can see the ground down in there. And I don't want to use this sealant to do this, to fill that all up, because this stuff is a little on the expensive side, and I don't want to pay to have all that sealant down in a crack. It's not necessary. So what I did was I bought this bag of sand, and I'm going to fill that with sand up to about 1/2 inch from the top, and then put the sealant over the top of the sand. And I'll use my putty knife there and this little hand broom, and what I'll do is get some sand on the floor, and I'll just work it into the crack and stuff it down in there until I've got it done front to back. So that's what's on the agenda for today. I'm hoping I can get all of the cracks filled, because once I get the cracks done, now I'm basically completely finished with the floor. until after the walls are painted and, you know, everything is cleaned. I want to wash the ceiling because of all the dust, you know, from doing the grinding on the floor. It was just dust all over every place. And I want to wash the ceilings and wash the walls before I patch, repair, and paint the walls. And once I'm done with that, then I got to come back and wash the floor. That'll be the last thing to do, and lay the flooring. Then it's going to start looking like a shop again, because I can get the machine set up, get all the materials back in here, all my toolboxes back in here, get everything set up the way I want it, and then get ready for new equipment that's going to be coming over the next couple months. So I'll have this done. So it's exciting because I'm getting to the point where I know once I get to the painting, the rest of it should happen fairly quickly. You know, the painting's not a difficult thing. Just the front of the shop where the doors are, that's a little tricky, but not a big deal. Okay, so here's what we're doing today. I'm filling this crack between the two joints with sand. And it's a pretty simple procedure. All I gotta do is stick it in there and then just push it down in there with the blade on my little putty knife here, and it seems to work okay. Gets it down in the crack, and but it takes a little while. It's tedious, you know, to get all the sand down in there. So it's taken me longer than I thought it was going to do this thing. I've already been working on this for, I don't know, an hour, maybe a little more, maybe hour and a half. But I don't want to have to fill this expansion joint with too much of the sealant, the caulk, and it's much easier to just fill it with sand, fill up that void with sand, and then you don't use so much of that stuff. And I was teasing with my brother earlier today, and I said, yeah, I'm out in the shop sitting on my butt pushing sand down in a crack between the two slabs of concrete in the shop. I says, I finally understand the meaning of the phrase, go pound sand. But I don't know, maybe it means something else too, I'm not sure. So anyway, that's what we're doing. Until I get to the end, it's pretty boring stuff. Just the same as doing this. I'll be sitting here for another 2 hours at least, I think, pushing sand in the crack. So I'll show you what it's like when it's all done. Okay. Well, we got her done. All the sand's in the crack between the two slabs on the floor. And let me show you what that looks like. Yeah, you can see I got sand down in that deep crack. It was about 4.5 inches deep, and probably about the thickness of the slab. And I got it all filled up all the way down the line. About, roughly 1/2 inch from the top or so. So what I'll do then is I'll come back with the sealant, the expansion joint sealant, and I'll fill that in and go all the way out here to the front. And I left a little dam. I put a little dam with sand there because I'm going to come just up to that point right there, and I'll deal with these cracks out here outside the other side of the door. I'll deal with those later. Right now I just want to get this so that I can lay the floor and get this all these cracks filled in where the floor is going to go. So maybe if I get a little time tomorrow, I'll come back out here and do the cracks, fill in the cracks and fill in the expansion joints. Took me longer to do this than I thought it would. Of course, I had a few interruptions today also, but took a while longer to do this. Not a difficult job, but just a little tedious, you know, sitting there working the sand down in that crack just takes a little bit of time. So anyway, it's finished. That part of it. One more thing I don't have to do anymore. It's done. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and press the little notification bell so that when I post videos you get notified. And I appreciate it and glad you could join me today. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you're ever in need of 3D product design, 3D injection mold design, 3D die-cast mold design, or 3D printed prototypes or production parts, please feel free to contact me. You can find contact information in the video description. I look forward to hearing from you and to being of service to you. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate it. See you on 3D Accuracy's next video.